okay. You weren't in the shot. You weren't in it, so it's okay. I'm just recording.
Next up, we've got Shout On from Tsubasa. And this is really fast Sakura-chi's that way, so you know. Oh, yeah. I wasn't expecting a tearaway, I'm not gonna lie. Next, we've got Chu from Yu Yu Hakusho. we've got Esmeralda from my favorite Disney movie, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Next up, Princess better hide because we've got the Ice Queen from Fiona and Kate comic book series. Adventure time! Alright, do we have audio too? All right, next walk on is Inuyasha and Kagome from the final act of Inuyasha. I have so many nostalgia feels, you guys. I just can't sometimes. Alrighty, and that is the last of all of our walk-ons. Can we give them a big round of applause? Alright, thank you everyone for your time, and thank you cosplayers for coming out here. You were all awesome. And we should have Samurai, Jan, and all trying to get down.
I moved to back here.
All right.
for that.
All right, they're going to be working on judging all of the contestants because it's a tough one. In the meantime, enjoy our halftime show, though. The judging should be done pretty quick, though. I'm going to put the mic backstage so we don't have our halftime show kill themselves.
I did that on stage for one convention. We said, "Did you guys have fun? Yay! I'm sorry the con's over. You have to go home." And a group of college girls stood up and said, "But Sam, I did. We love you." And this had just kind of become popular. So I'm on stage going, "I'd never seen it before. And I'm old and I don't adjust to new things quickly, like the electricity or the internet." And I'm like, and the girl goes, "You don't understand. That's upside down." And I said, "You don't understand. I'm a man." And that was the day we learned that most new cell phones have an app that you can instantly download photographs and post them on Facebook. Because within 5 seconds, there was a Facebook picture of me making an I heart you sign with my a 6'7" guy in a skirt isn't weird enough. Now I have to worry about accessorizing. All right, we're here to to do a show. Yeah, that's it. So what I thought is we're going to talk about what we know about, and I teach 16th century sword combat for a living. As my mother pointed out, me being the best swordsman in the Midwest in the 21st century is roughly akin to being the fastest rider for the Pony Express. It doesn't matter at all. Like, thanks, Mom, I love you too. But we're going to show you a little bit about Japanese swordsmanship, and really the most important thing you need to know is if someone comes walking out of the woods in a hockey mask carrying a big bloody knife, run. But if you're a girl and you're well-developed and wearing small outfits, the odds are you're going to trip, fall, and hurt your ankle. So, make friends with my wife. She's scary, she's armed, and she has poor frustration tolerance. She'll protect you.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you a little bit about that because samurai training is about using a sword so often becoming so comfortable with the weapon at your side that it is no longer a tool that you pick up, use, and put down when you don't need it, but it's actually just an extension of your body where you move with it completely without thinking, and that's good for her because she's blonde. I'm going to show you a little bit about Japanese swordsmanship. Please keep in mind, what we teach goes back to a time when people actually lived and died by their skill with a sword. It wasn't about scoring points, it wasn't about winning trophies or tournaments and going, woohoo, I'm a national champion. It was about cutting down someone who was trying to kill you and going home to your family at the end of the day. So for the samurai, they had to start training early. Age 3. Samurai children were given a stick and told to go play with their brothers. This is considered parenting by natural selection. It's easier. And at age 7, those children that were still functional, did well, were accepted into a formal training environment called a dojo, where from ages 7 to 15, they trained diligently in the arts of war. And at age 15, those children had a coming-of-age ceremony called Genpuku. And those children that passed, were then treated as an adult. They were given their first shinken, or real sword, and from that point on, they were treated as an adult in Japanese society. And by being treated like an adult, different then than now. Nowadays, if you want to be treated like an adult, it just means you don't want your mom to yell at you, clean your room, take out the trash. Back then, it meant if Dad goes to war, so do you. So they trained early, they trained often, and they trained hard. They had to be able to move with the sword and make powerful, strong cuts with balance. Shoden no kata, yours. This is my favorite part of the weekend. This is where I boss my wife around and she does what I say. Usually. Now, normally, if you train at our school, this is about developing balance, coordination, upper leg strength, lower back. I'll leave you in this position for 5-10 minutes. My wife has threatened if I ever leave her in this position for more than 30 seconds, she'll kill me. And I believe her, so we're going to move on. Shoden no kata. Ichi. Ni. San. Shi. Go.
Ya.
Ro.
To.
Li. Sai.
Nai.
Yu.
Ya.
Ju.
To.
To each. You need. No. That's my job. She's on my side, be nice to her. I don't have many allies. Especially by the end of our show. As I mentioned. Look, kid, there's a time to laugh at my jokes and a time to just be quiet and let it go. And when I'm making fun of myself, that's not the time to laugh. It's like high school all over again. Girls laughing at me. As I mentioned before, our hearts go back to the times we like to have lived and died by their skill with a sword. So we watch this next part. I'm going to get out of her way. She's just doing 8 basic cuts to show you angles with a sword, but in her mind, this isn't just, as soon as we're done, I get supper. She should be cutting down an opponent, so in front of her, in her mind, there's some tall, creepy, bad guy that
Scare me.
is killing with a sword. How was your emotion? against you. We have swords, you have cameras. That'll be of tremendous use in the trial, but it won't help you right now. Now, the battlefield was very chaotic, though. There were times we could actually get separated. And instead of just pushing the pause button and waiting until your roommate comes back from their trip to the bathroom before you continue with Halo, the samurai had to be able to keep fighting. So even if you find yourself alone, you have to be able to fight. And it's possible you could get surrounded by the enemy.
Wait a minute.
And you would have to, all alone. People who hate you all over the globe. For this next one, what I want you to do is I want you to pretend that you are all alone on the battlefield, completely surrounded by the enemy. People who hate you and wish you harm. It is you, all alone, in a sea of hostile, unfriendly faces. Like high school. Shihogiri, eat! Eat! Stop! Eat! Go! What's wrong with you? They probably agree. Yeah, briefer too. Those 9 years of 8th grade would have cut my life.
Yeah, I think we've reached the part of the show where I get to swing this at you. Yes.
That's not in the script.
That's what they all want to see.
All right, fine. Like Tim always said, the customer's always right. My dad always said, oh wait, I should clarify, we're in Missouri. That's not the same person. At least you guys are laughing. I made that joke in Arkansas. People got it. So, this brings us to the next part of samurai development. Because once you were confident to use the sword, it was really important to learn what to do when somebody swings a sword at you. And I know what you're thinking while you're sitting out there going, look, it's a dead art, nobody cares, we don't live and die with the skill of the sword, nobody's going to attack me with a sword, I don't need to know this. This is where I remind you to take a good look around at where you're at. You are at an anime con, which means you are surrounded by anonymous people in costume, heavily armed with more impulse control. If you ever needed this skill, it's now. And normal human response, if somebody just jumps out from behind a giant wall of speakers, it could happen, and attacks you with a 3-foot sharpened razor blade, normal human reaction looks like this. The flinch response. It's about one step up from the fetal position. And just so we're clear, not only was the fetal position of no use on the battlefield, it will not help you in your dating life. Okay? So, we move on. Thank you, by the way, for taking my picture after I uncurled from clothing. Because that's normally how I'm on the internet. I mean, with clothing on. Yeah. Look at that. She's laughing so hard she's turning blue. We know that was the joke. Really? Because you think normally people choking to death is something they're going to laugh at? Yeah. Aside from going, no, don't kill me! If you train a little bit in martial arts, you take taekwondo, karate classes, and this is our shout-out to the greatest movie of all time, The Karate Kid! That really cool black do is move!
Yeah.
Well, I didn't say it was rocket science, but it's the hardest thing to teach people. If somebody swings, you get out of the way! And as long as the sword and your body don't occupy the same focus, that's enough. I'm gonna sit by her. No! Look, we agreed to do this show for cosplay.
Yes.
But when this is still educational entertainment. Well, it's I read this school was that way for you too. When I'm talking about, hey, when somebody attacks you with a weapon, move, get yourself out of the way. 2 or 3 times is it's a visual aid. You're from Missouri. It's the showing state. So I show you. She swings, I move. She swings, I move. After 4, even the dumbest person in this room has figured this out. Except for her. Beyond that, you just kept attacking.
Yeah?
Beyond 3 or 4 times for them to understand it, it's just abuse. I didn't sign on for abuse.
Yes, you did. You married me. All right, fine. Will you continue with the show if you get to play with your sword?
Yeah, I love playing with it. What's the matter with you people? Stop it! Come back! Woo! Shut up. Really? Are you making our show that low? Don't answer that. Don't answer that.
Do it again.
That's what happened to her first boyfriend. Do it again. You know what? You guys shouldn't be requesting that we do that much. You know why? That's not combat. When we're doing this, just for you though, because you want it. And Daddy always said, blah blah. You heard that joke before? You know why you shouldn't cheer for that? That's not combat. We're not even aiming at each other. If we miss, nothing happens. No one dies, unless I miss really bad and it goes that way. This is not combat. That's not combat on the battlefield in feudal Japan. That's not even a good fight at my house on Friday night. And just when she gets mad, and don't kid yourself, buddy, she will. There's nothing you can do. You're a man. When she gets mad, that frying pan is not. Anybody see Tangled? Frying pans, who knew? I'm wasting my time teaching sword combat. All I need is a good skillet. That frying pan is not going over there. It's not going over there. It's going right down Broadway because on a non-blonde, that is a lethal injury. Which brings me to the next part of samurai development. If someone attacks... No, I never learned that one. 11 years of marriage and I'm still flexible enough to put both feet in my mouth. If someone swings a sword at you and you're armed, don't die. It's just not complicated. But bad guy swings. See this? I call this move blocking. I highly recommend blocking. See, the way it works, bad guy swings their sword, and you take your sword, and you put it between their blade and your face, thus preserving this. Yeah, I know. Why bother, right? Thanks.
You're forgetting something again.
No, you swung. I put my sword there. I put it behind my head once. That didn't work. Hey, go see. I got it.
But you left part out.
Right, I should have rolled up my sleeve and turned off the guns. Like Arnold, right? You are off your mask. That is the first, by the way. You're the first person to ever go, woo! When I did that. Most people are going, with attention deficit, giant. And I want you to know my wife is riddled with this disease.
Uh-oh.
That sounds worse than I meant it.
You know what? Maybe, no, I know these guys were paying better attention than you were. If someone swings a sword violently at your head, you should.
Very.
Boo! How'd you guys know we're from Iowa? That's like a mating call where we're from. It gets cold in Iowa. I mean, you know the worst part? The first time I did that joke, it was completely unscripted, and we had my children with us. And they're her stepkids. So I'm on stage going, move! And, I mean, you get the... My son back there, Jill's going, oh my God, I can't believe you said that on stage. How's he going to take that? My son leans over, and you've been at the big conventions that have the hanging mics that lean in. My son leans over, whispers to her, and says, that explains so much about my mother.
Picked up with the microphone, so the whole audience heard it.
I love my children, but we don't travel with them anymore.
So, not move.
I have problems with B words.
I know. Out of the way. That part
So you have problems with
You
victory?
said I was set by her.
Yes.
I can do that.
No.
Uh,
Move. You get out of the way, but you still have to do your full block.
So I'm going to walk, and then I'm going to go sit by her.
You're going to block and move at the same time.
I can't do that. You want me to do that, block and move at the same time?
Yes.
Yes.
I can't do two things at once. It's impossible. I'm a man.
Alright, fine. Swing your sword at me, and I'll show these guys how full blocking and moving works.
I'm going to swing my sword at you
Yes.
in front of all these. Oh, right. Can we move down here?
Not yet.
You're okay up here on stage in front of everybody?
Yeah.
So I'm going to hit you with a sword.
Yeah.
I love this shit. Alright. Oh, I see what you're doing. You want me to take that one step back? There can be only one! And it's not me. Alright. So I'm going to swing my sword at you.
I'm going to block and move.
Yeah, blah, blah, whatever, but I can hit you with a sword.
Go ahead.
Okay, fine. Hey!
Not do it.
That didn't work out the way I thought it was going to. Yes, dear, I'm much better the second time. Oh, you've never used that line before. Actually, there's girls out there laughing. You've heard that line, haven't you? It's probably a lie this time, too. By the way, parents, if your children are getting these jokes, you're bad. So, second time.
Go for it.
Ah!
Oh, I knew it.
So no matter what I do, you win.
Yeah.
God, this sounds like our dating relationship. All right, fine. One more time.
Go for it.
All right. You've heard that before, too, haven't you? Bye. No!
Hey!
All right, fine, that's it. I quit.
What?
I'm not going to play anymore. This was poorly written.
No, it
No
wasn't.
matter what I do, you win.
Yeah?
Who wrote that part in the script?
I did.
You know what? That's not true. I know that wasn't your writing on the script. You know how I know? There were no crayon marks on my script.
You know why, Mr. Big Shot? Because you ate the box of crayons last night.
Is that what that was?
Uh-huh.
I thought you were cooking again.
Oh.
It's all right, don't be so offended. Look, dinner last night was better than normal. I was going to ask if we'd have the same thing for supper tonight.
Oh, well, dinner's on you tonight.
Ooh, that could be good.
That's it. It is off.
Really? Don't kill him. Like that? Don't kill him. Don't kill him.
But it's time for
What are you doing?
There's the third, so I remember seeing it online.
To the pain! You had to go Princess Bride! You know why you love every woman on the planet loves the Princess Bride. You know why? 2 reasons. Reason number 1 why every woman on the planet loves the Princess Bride, the long-lost lovers are reunited.
Aww.
And what's the first thing she does? She kicks him off the mountain! And while he's falling, all he gets to say is, as you wish!
Yeah?
Reason number 2 why every woman on the planet loves the Princess Bride. Princess Bride is the only movie that teaches that eating chocolate will bring you back from the dead.
I had no clue about this movie at all. That's me.
How many jokes?
On this part, yes. Same.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a substitute for good sex.
Yeah.
Alright, on! You wanted this. Let's move down here where we've got some. Can you guys back up a little bit? I don't want you to get her blood on you. And for those of you watching at home, I didn't say that. Of course you did. So, for this part, and I am asking your indulgence on a little bit. You guys actually want to see an epic fight scene? That is the only thing I ask. Since you guys are close, no movements, and don't swing extra things in because these, they're not sharp, but it really is a 4.5-pound bar of steel, and it would not improve your facial features at all. Look what it did for me. You didn't have to laugh at that one. All right, but it's on now. You okay this, remember? Oh yeah, well he hasn't regretted it yet, he hasn't seen it.
Do we need to put a blindfold on him? Loss of deniability.
No!